because of our partnership. One thing that we've talked about is spiritual direction. Now that is a requirement for MDiv students as they take their field education. And so if you do the math, by the time you graduate, if you take 5 FE credits and there's 6 sessions per semester, you'll have 30 sessions of spiritual direction. We have a number of spiritual directors, and you get to choose who you will work with within reason. Some of the spiritual directors are pretty full, so it all depends on what their availability is. So the sooner you can talk to me about that sort of thing, if you are in an FE course right away, the better. But we have a number of spiritual directors that are available, and for students, spiritual direction is available to you at a very subsidized cost while you are here at the school. So if you would like to have even just one session of spiritual direction, or if you want to do that on a regular basis, anybody familiar with spiritual direction? Is that a completely new term for you? Okay. In the last sort of 15, 20 years, there's been a lot of interest because of the fact that many of the documents and books that were written by the fathers of the early church have now been reproduced and available to many, many people. There's a whole new field of study called spiritual formation. And spiritual formation is primarily about helping you with the experience of developing your relationship with God. Not so much the academic part. So the concepts of prayer, or the practice of prayer, and various spiritual disciplines are the things that we focus on as we deal with spiritual formation. A lot of it has to do with how to grow. And rather than do that in a class, historically a lot of that was done one-to-one in a relationship. Some of us might call it, depending on your tradition, mentorship, discipleship, even pastoral care. But in the past, you often would have a spiritual director who would meet with you to discuss with you how your prayer life is going, and to help you in your prayer life, to be able to guide you in developing a deeper prayer life. And so if you want to talk about any matters dealing with your own spiritual growth, or dealing with developing and deepening your prayer life, you can arrange through Urban Sanctuary to be able to have a spiritual director, and that's available to all students at a very reduced rate. You're also welcome to come over to the facility. The facility has a number of rooms that are available for day retreats, and if you just want to take some time to be alone with God, many people have places already that they do that sort of thing in, but some may be living in a very crowded abode. If you have 7 kids in your family and you're the mom, you might not find that there's too many places where you could get away. Well, if you come to Urban Sanctuary, you can give us your cell phone and we'll keep that safe for you. And we won't tell anybody that you're there, and you can have either a morning or an afternoon or the whole day just to have time to pray. And to we have a library there as well that focuses on spiritual growth issues. Or you could set up a time for spiritual direction, and also for time of prayer and time for yourself. So we have that available for you as well. The other thing I wanted to pick up on is that you don't have to only take the number of courses that are the minimum requirement. When I was a student, I approached things a little bit differently. I picked out all the courses that I thought would be helpful to me as a person. And that ended up being a lot more courses than what was needed to graduate. And so I think I had 12 to 15 credits extra at the end, and they still graduated me. So it's good news. And, if you want to take extra courses, we have put together what's called the Institute of Spiritual Formation, and we have an agreement with Taylor Seminary that says that if you want to be involved in those courses, You can take them, and maybe if you could pass those out, and if there aren't enough, I have a few brochures. They're a little bit different this year than what's in the catalog, but you can do the academic work and get credit for them, is what I'm letting you know. So the first one has to do with the practice of reading scripture transformationally and prayer. The second one has to do with building community, and the third one has to do with working through the sin issues in your life, working through cleansing, and then knowing your calling. And if those are things that you want to work at, they can be done individually at this point, but they are kind of a semester type of course. And so if you hadn't thought about any of those, they're very experiential. We do them on 3 weekends during the year, but you would get spiritual direction as a part of that, and we do group work, and we also have time there for triad work as well. And it's a very experiential kind of program for you. So if you want to add that, because I know as students, if you're only taking 9 hours and working a job, I mean, you've got all this extra time, right? That you don't know what to do with, and you might as well be building your relationship with God. And while that may seem a bit of a joke, because most students come to us saying, there's no time for anything, the secret that I just want you to know is that actually things don't change once you get into the ministry. There are lots of time pressures, and so you really have to carve out that time to be with God. You really need to make that a very important priority. And we are here to help you as much as we possibly can with that. Having said that, there is a section on the bulletin board that is on your left as you go down that hallway towards the washrooms that has a section just for urban sanctuary. And so you need to know that we have this partnership together with Taylor Seminary, and we make it a priority to provide these opportunities for you. Also, I'm a student as well. I'm working on a doctorate of ministry, and I am taking a few courses because my degree was so old that they said I had to upgrade a few things. And so I'm here on Tuesdays teaching, and we'll be here at chapel during chapel times. I'm here Thursdays as a student, and probably one of the few people you can talk to that sees things from both sides. I see it from students' perspective, and I see it from a professor's perspective. But if you want to talk at any time about spiritual formation or about your spiritual life, it's good that you are able to see my face. It'll be imprinted deeply on your minds, and so you can come and talk to me anytime that you want. Or if you want to go across the Great Lakes there and to go to our office, there's a fellow that looks a lot like Rick that's usually at the front desk, and his name is Mark. Their haircuts are amazingly similar, and Mark is a great guy to chat with.
We are not monks. Don't worry about it.
So, any questions about that part of it? Because that's quite different than the internet courses, which I'm supposed to help you with as well. So, any questions about internship or about Urban Sanctuary?
Hello everyone, I'm Yvonne Carey from the Vanguard College. I work in the library, I'm assistant to the librarian, and we have been the fortunate receivers of your library here at Taylor, and like I said, it was a lot of work, but it has given us lots and lots of access to millions of books. So even though it was a lot of work, it's great, and we thank you for giving us that privilege. Our location is 12140 103rd Street. I've left some little handouts there just so that you'll get the hours and everything. We're 2 blocks north of Nate and Kingsway, and just east a little bit. We're about 4 blocks west of 97th Street, so if you want to get to the Yellowhead and turn south on 97th Street, just go to 122nd Ave and come west about 4 blocks, and you'll be right there. The bus route is 143 Montrose East and westbound. And the library number there is on the sheet as well. Our hours are Monday to Thursday, 8 to 10. We don't start opening in the evenings until after, I think, September 10th this year is the time. We're open Fridays 8 to 4, and we are closed Saturday and Sundays and holidays. I need to give you some instructions on how to get into the library after 4:30 p.m. because you don't use the main doors. So you enter the parking lot and come into the doors to the right, which is called the southwest or the faculty entrance. All this is on that little sheet that you are getting. Okay. Come up the stairs to the main floor, turn left, go down the hallway, turn left again, and go up the stairs to the second floor. The library is on the second floor, and we had to make this a maze because under our ABHE standards, we only can have one entry or one exit, and we've got a couple entries, but we can only have one exit, so we've had to block off those doors. Once you have your library membership card, which you will get at the office here, I believe, you can set up your account online, and I just went through a few little instructions, although it's really straightforward. Go to My Account, and they'll ask for your barcode, and if you do not know your PIN, you can click on What is my PIN, and they'll email it to you. It'll probably take about 24 hours to get the email and get everything set up. Then you can put holds on the books and have them delivered to the library that's most convenient for you, either Taylor or Vanguard, or you can have it delivered to any of the other NEOS library members. So, and the courier comes to you and to us on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So those are the days you'll be able to get something delivered. If it is on a holiday, then there won't be delivered that day. Any alumni or non-current students will be classed as external borrowers and may only borrow from the Vanguard Taylor Library. I know there was some discussion with our alumni and with, I think, some of yours. They thought that once they were alumni, they still had access to all of the other member libraries, but according to NEOS rules, you only get to borrow from our library if you're alumni or an external borrower. Which then, if you want to borrow from other libraries, you can purchase a card called the TAL card. Some of you may be familiar with that. I think you purchase it at the public library. I'm not familiar with it because we're not going to accept it right now. We're still learning the system. We're still learning so many things, believe me. So we're just not going to accept it right now. All it is you have a library membership, I think, at the public library, and then you buy an extra card and you can take it. I know Concordia recognizes it, King's recognizes it, and I think quite a few of the U of A people recognize it. So, so you can probably get around, you can borrow from through that. There is a link on your Taylor website to the NEOS website, which is where you would search. And if you were going through the Vanguard, and I probably don't even really need to do this because I'm checking your website, I think you have access to almost everything else that we do too, but you can go to vanguardcollege.com, click on current students, then under library there's college library search for the NEOS link, or there's EBSCO, which is the periodicals and journals, or there's net library search, and I'm pretty sure you have access to all those through the Taylor website. There's wireless connection at Vanguard if you want to come over there and study. We have a couple of quiet rooms where there's separate carols. And we've done a little bit more, for those of you who have been there. I think Isaiah's is the only one I have. You've been there too, right? So anyway, there are some added carols and more quiet areas than there were before when you first came. We'd love to have you come and visit. You can call. We'll try to help you whatever way we can. But like I say, we're learning too, so you'll have to bear with us. And thank you. If there's any questions, does anyone have any questions?
Yvonne and I were chatting briefly as to whether or not we should provide a map of the best ways to get from here to there. But is it fair to assume you'd all be using GPS or MapQuest or something anyhow? Or should we put together a map, maybe put it on the website or something? No? Okay, so we trust that you'll find your way to the library. Just one thing that I found, I took Anthony Hendy up to Yellowhead, and if one takes the west route, there are more lights on Yellowhead before you get to Vanguard than if you take the east route. And secondly, I found that it's better to exit on 97 from Yellowhead and drop south to 21st or 22nd, because then you can get right onto the avenue. If you exit on 107th and you go south to 21st or 22nd, you can't make a left turn.
Yeah.
You have to go additional blocks and come back. So it's better to exit on 97 if that's the way you go. You may want to go just straight through the city, but that may depend on whether it's rush hour or not. So if there are no further questions about the library, we'll go on to the next item, finances and fees. John?
Hello again, my name is John. I just want to explain a little bit about financial information. Basically, all the financial information is very straightforward. It's in the catalog here on page 21. As you've seen in your statement, bill statement, you will see the tuition. The tuition is per credit hour is 290, and for audit rate is 145. Also, you will see the library fee is for full-time student is $20 and part-time student is $10. And also, you will see also the Taylor Student Association fee, which is $50 for student taking 7 credit or more, and $25 for 6 credit or less. But this TSSA fee, it will not apply for online student or audit student. And also, I just want to point out in the calendar of event on page 4 and 5. September 14 is the most important date that you need to remember, because on September 14 is the last day for 100% refund. So if for some reason that you want to drop the course, please drop it before September 14 or September 14, because otherwise you will not get 100% refund. And also on September 14 is all unpaid balance will get the penalty charge for 3%. But if for some reason that you cannot pay all the balance, please drop an email to me or call me or talk to me, so we can arrange some payment arrangement. In that way, you will not be charged for 3% penalty. Anyway, my office is just beside the registrar office, beside Sujin. And also on September 14 is I will apply all the scholarship and bursary that you receive. So it will apply to your student account. And in February next year, you will receive your tax receipt for the T2202A. Yeah, I think that's all I want to say for the financial information. It's all in your catalog here. Do you have any question? I think if no question, I just finish it. And thank you. God bless.
So we're marching right through the orientation and are ahead of schedule. So we've had the library orientation, and Len has given us introduction to logging on to the internet. We've heard about finances and fees, bringing us to the section on student life. Lori has just stepped out. She is the one who's ordered the lunch. And noting that we're somewhat ahead of schedule, she's trying to expedite that so it arrives a little earlier. And we've already heard about the community parking, shared campus EP Wall Center, and the president of the Student Association has not arrived. We're expecting she'll be here, but she hasn't arrived. So we are momentarily waiting for Lori to come back. Unless, Sam, you want to say something about chapel?
I can say it a bit.
Yes, we will do it here.
Not much, but a bit. My name is Sam Drew, and I'm the chapel coordinator. I also work with Len at the Urban Sanctuary. And this is the first year that I've been doing this, so I'm fairly new at it, very new at it. But I think the things that I need to let you know is if you have any announcements that you'd like to make during chapel, that you can let me know beforehand. Probably contact Lori and she can let me know as well. And we'll have chapel every Tuesday and Thursday. I think the TSSA representatives will tell you a little bit more about some of the things we'll be doing. But also during the chapel time, for 2 days a month, we'll be having community groups. And I'm not sure how much has been explained about all that, and I'll probably explain more later, but those are groups of, of students and faculty that get together and try to develop some more fellowship and some more group time. And I think that kind of covers a lot of it. We have a variety of different speakers during chapel. We'll always have some worship time and doing a variety of different types of worship time. And chapel, as you probably know, is on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I should know this right now, from 10:15 or so to 10:45?
To 11.
To 11, 10:15 to 11. So, any questions? Yes?
Is it going to be in Commons or stencil this year?
It'll probably be in the Commons series, yes. We might have a couple of events in the hall there, but mostly in the Commons. Any others? Well, I didn't fill all the time, but here's the reason.
Sam's question about when chapel meets reminds me of a story of a prominent professor who had made a significant discovery and was asked to lecture on that subject at many different universities. And he had a chauffeur that took him to these different locations. After quite a number of them, he said, "I'd heard that lecture so often I could give it." And the professor said, "Okay, today you'll give the lecture." So before they got to the next university, they stopped and changed clothes. The professor put on the chauffeur's uniform and drove to the university. They made sure they arrived just before the lecture, so there wasn't much time for conversation ahead of time. And the chauffeur got out, and gave the entire lecture flawlessly. But he did it a little faster than the professor normally does, allowing time for questions. Among the first questions was a graduate student who asked a pretty intelligent, complicated question, but the chauffeur was bright and sharp. He said, "I'm surprised that as a graduate student, you would ask such a simple question. I bet even my chauffeur could answer it." So on the chapel time, I had to refer to my chauffeurs here who know better than I. Lori?
Am I last on here?
If Amy doesn't come.
If I am, you guys are going to have to mingle for a while because pizza won't be here until about 1:45. Anyway, I'm Lori and I'm in the general office, and that's the place that you come for things like your mailboxes and pick up your papers and drop off your papers and pick up forms and give me money and all that sort of stuff. So basically all students except for the ones that are online should have a mailbox, and that's where, of course, all the papers and all the TSSA material and everything like that's going to go to, so you want to keep apprised of that. And our office is generally closed during the lunch hour on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We're going to try our best to keep it open during the Tuesdays and the Thursdays for you during the lunch hour, so hopefully that'll help. And there's a slot beside the mailboxes, and you probably already know where the mailboxes are. And it's for hand-in papers or whatnot, or else you can just do it over the counter as well. But please make sure, one thing that we found out is just make sure that your professor's name is on your paper, and your name and your mailbox number, please. And when picking up your mailbox key, we're also going to give you a parking tag if you are driving, and that's just to ensure that it's just us over there, and we don't have our friends, our neighbors parking there, or people off the street. So if you could pick one of those up. Unfortunately, we don't have them yet, so what I'll do is give you a form, and it'll just basically have your address or ask for your name and your license plate number and stuff on that. So we'll do that, and then I'll just put your tag into your mailbox. And as Sujin had mentioned, most of the forms are right by the general office. If you don't find one, or if they're out, just be sure to ask. Payments, we take debit, MasterCard, Visa, cash, or checks. I take it all. So whenever you can do that, that's where you come to do it. And library cards. Okay, I'm just not sure how this is all going to work. I also made a form for these forms. But anyway, just to get the information down there, because what happens is for the new students, if you're not on NEOS already, you don't have a library card with Taylor, then I'm going to have to take your picture. So you can come anytime that I'm here, and I'll snap a picture, and then it'll take me maybe a day or two, and I'll get that processed, and then I have to get all your information onto the NEOS system. So so that's why if I have the paper, then I can do it, and I can just have your card ready for you. And you can either pick that up, or I can put it in your mailbox as well. So the library books, there is a place on NEOS, of course, where you can tell where you want the books delivered. And so if you say Taylor Vanguard, I think Taylor Vanguard is together, then that means that they'll come here to Taylor for you. And so you can pick them up at the front office, and you can drop them off anytime you want as well. And I can get that for you. And a couple other little things. The bulletin boards, hopefully you'll find any information you need on there. If you have something that wants to go on the board, we just ask that you bring it over to the general office, so one of us can initial that for you. And last but not least, our kitchen. We just ask basically that everybody kind of follow the simple little kitchen rule of cleaning up after yourself. And if you do that, of course, it's going to be a much happier place. So there's reminder stickers and signs all over the place as to, pick it up and put it in the garbage and stuff like that. So So please help us out in that area. And of course, last but not least, before as I mentioned before, as Karis was introduced, I'm going to go down to 3 days a week. I'm kind of excited about that. So my days are going to be Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and Karis will be able to help you out on Thursdays and Fridays. So that should be it. And any questions? Yes.
When can we come pick up our library key?
Library card?
Sorry.
Or the mailbox key?
Mailbox key.
Actually, you can do that today, I think. Yes.
And one more thing, Lori.
Yes.
If we have already our card, Taylor,
Yeah.
do we need to get a new one, or it didn't sound like it? Sounded
No,
like-
if you have a card and you want the same pictures, okay, I'll just renew it for you, just bring it, I need your old card and I'll just bring it, do it for you. But if you don't have one, then of course you have to have a picture taken. Or if you want a new picture, I can do that as well. Any other questions? Oh, okay.
We don't expect that you'll remember all the details you've heard, including what you just heard, but you have a handout with that information, right? A sheet? Oh, I thought you did.
They'll learn it fast.
Okay. And I'm auditorily challenged, so I need to ask, did you say Amy was planning to come at 1:45, or what was that reference about 1:45?
The pizza will be here.
Oh, okay. It looks like Amy will not be coming. There was an email that mentioned something about being gone. On the other hand, she had received a copy of the program and did not say that she was not coming. But I'm concluding that she probably will not come. As Lori indicated, lunch will arrive at 1:45. That gives us 45 minutes. And I'm going to suggest that we use that for visiting, or this would be time when you could register if you haven't already done that.
Mailbox key?
Get mailbox keys, all the kinds of things that have been mentioned, especially if you're not able to stay for the afternoon. You would have 45 minutes now to do these kinds of things. Yes, Jim?
Excuse me, sir. I'm new here, right? Can we take a few minutes and just sort of walk around?
Definitely,
I
definitely.
mean, like,
A guided tour?
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, can you can we wander around here for like 10, 15 minutes so we can see where things are? We've been talking about the building over here and this over here and that over there.
We might even be able to arrange a guided tour if there's a group that would like to do that.
We're just off to ask Rick.
Pardon me?
We're just gonna go ask Rick if he's available.
Oh, okay. That probably would be a good idea. As I mentioned, I arrived only a few weeks before you, although I've been here before. I think I could take you around without getting lost, but Rick would do a better job of that. So we'll see if he's available. So let's make Jim the center point for anyone who would like to do a tour of the campus during the next 45 minutes. Are there other ways in which we could be helpful?
Eric, you said that this orientation was being recorded.
Right.
How would the students access that if they want to go back over?
It is being recorded for those who could not come today. Or if at any time you want to remind yourself, now what did that person say or that person say? It's going to be online. And Tim, why don't you tell us more specifically where?
I expect to put it on YouTube, but I'll link to it from our website. Just look for it in the news section. There's a recent news articles, and so I'll just write a short article there describing orientation, and the links to it will be in there. We'll put also on our Facebook page. And if you're not on our Facebook page, there's an official Taylor College and Seminary page. That's facebook.com/Taylor Updates. You can join us there, and the TSSA also has their own page. And I'm sorry, I don't know the URL for the TSSA, but you can link to it from the Taylor College and Seminary page.
I should add about TSSA, the Student Association. I'm sure that they'll be very interested in getting to know you and provide information as to what they do. So while we can't provide that today, I'm sure that you'll be receiving information in the next days. Sam?
I was just curious if you had a date for the retreat.
I couldn't get that.
A date for the retreat.
Oh.
The TSSA puts that on.
Because a number of us are a little unsure as to what's being planned, I think it would be wise for me to leave TSSA to inform you about that. There normally is a fall retreat, but I know the normal retreat is scheduled for January. TSSA is planning an event in September, October, and I'm not sure if that's for the entire student body or for the leadership of Student Association. So, yes.
I'm aware that they're hoping to plan a canoe trip down the river, and it's not only open to all the students, but even to friends. The dates are not confirmed yet, but I think planning is well along for that, so just watch for news.
And as I said, I'm sure you'll be getting more information about that. Rick, there has been expression of interest in just touring the campus, and we thought you would make a good guide. So if you're interested in doing that, gather around Jim and Rick, and you can do the tour, and then you can register, you can pay if you've already registered, you can get your mailbox key, all those kind of things, or if you've done those already, visit, and pizza will be here in 40 minutes.